What's the worst case of rich kid syndrome you've seen? A kid in my graduating high school class was very wealthy. His parents bought him a Land Rover when he was 16 and he crashed it into a school bus. They bought him another Land Rover and he lost it street racing. Guess what? They bought him a Mercedes. Edit, he crashed it street racing. Not bet it. This kind of pales compared to some of these. But I'll give it a go. When I was a broke as duck bike messenger, I was dating a woman who was at a major restaurant fortune. One evening, she wanted to go to a club downtown. And I said I couldn't go because I didn't have any money. She said I should come on anyway, so I figured she's footing the bill. When we got to the club and it's time to pay the cover at the door, she pays for herself and starts to walk in. I'm like, hey, I don't have any money. I can't get in. She comes back out and tells me to just put it on my credit card. But of course I don't have one. She tells me she'll drive me to an ATM. But of course I don't have a bank account because I'm broke. I'm standing there in the street with her, trying futilely to explain that I literally do not own any money. She could not grasp the concept. I ended up walking home and she went to the club. We did not last long. Fraternity did a pledge event in which we were placed in a limo. Normal friend, wow. This is awesome. I've never been in a limo before. Rich kid syndrome friend, haven't you ever been to the airport? Dude would stand in a club and rip up bills of €10 yelling, "This is nothing to me." Okay. How about just giving away beer instead of antagonizing anyone in sight? Was in college. One of my residents was a rich freshman from Rhode Island. He lives on an island and takes a ferry into town. Anyways, his first week, he asked if there was fresh water available in the shower. I didn't understand what he meant. But apparently he didn't like showering with city water and didn't realize it was everywhere he went. I was so shocked and didn't know what to say that I suggested he used water bottles to clean him. Yeah, he didn't last long. Girl in my high school physics class offering her brand new iPhone to be destroyed in an experiment because my dad will just buy me a new one. She had it for like 1 week. I went to a private Catholic high school. So you had a lot of spoiled rich kids. My first car was a 1994 Toyota 4Runner that mom had gotten at a police auction. It was raised, had a pretty good sound system, and eventually the antenna broke off, so I stuck a cost hanger in there. This car was ghetto as duck and all my friends loved it. Mostly because I was one of the first people on my class who could drive. Anyway, my friend's girlfriend at the time was spoiled as duck and she was given a Mercedes-Benz S-Class as a birthday gift. She constantly talked it about my car and talked about how much better her Benz was and how she would never be caught dead in a Toyota. I just her to enjoy it while she could. Because she was going to wreck her car and daddy wasn't going to buy another one. Fast forward to that fateful day when she did crash her car a few miles away from school. I recognized her car, so I stopped to ask if she was okay. She was fine. I told her I would offer you a ride home, but you wouldn't be caught dead in my car now, would you? I left her ass there. Yeah, I pulled over mostly to rub it in her face. Yeah, I was petty as hell. So sue me. She shouldn't have been such a rick. I volunteer for Burning Man, which happens to attract some of the worst trustafarians I have ever seen. People who claim to live bohemian lifestyles of art and magic, that also have unending parental support for their magical globetrotting adventure. It's frustrating, because these people live in the most sheltered bubble of all. I can't even begin to describe how infuriating it is to deal with folks who can drop $50,000 on a week at a festival. Once when I was at a camp, me and a few other kids were playing a game. Kids from a different part of the camp came over and told us to leave. We replied that we were there first. One of them replied, "Yeah, but does your dad have a helicopter?" Worked at Trader Joe's while going to college, as did a lot of other people working there. One day while stocking the shelves with a coworker, a father and his daughter were shopping next to my coworker. I overheard the daughter ask daddy, "What is she doing?" The father replied, "Honey, That's what happens when you don't go to college, my coworker cried for the rest of her shift. The father was asked to leave. I can't make many assumptions about his wealth, but he definitely had the mentality. Classmate at university was from Qatar. Family owned large shares in a bank and was generally very deeply involved with the financial world in the Middle East. Needless to say, they were disgustingly filthy rich. First day on campus, we all decide to play soccer, so he goes to his room to change. When we come back from playing, we all go back to his room, and when we walk in, his clothes were still exactly where he threw them on the floor. He lost his it at the idea that nobody would clean his room for him and that he had to do his own laundry. He ended up going shopping every 2-3 weeks for really nice and expensive clothes and would throw them out after wearing them a few times because he didn't want to do laundry. I'm talking about a Brooks Brothers button-down shirt worth over $100 only being worn once or twice before ending up in the trash. Edit. Tell the people saying I should have washed it and sold it. Or gone dumpster diving or whatever. I'm pretty sure a few of the people on that floor entertained that thought, and probably a few did it. I had an on-campus job and was selling crafts on eBay and preferred the satisfaction of earning my own money. I used to work at a wholesale kitchen appliance distributor. It was a multi-million-dollar company. The CEO's daughter was my age, 23 at the time, and would often come shoot the it with us in sales. She had a high-rise condo by herself downtown, worth about $300,000. After I left, I bumped into one of my old co-workers and she came up in our conversation. I asked how she was doing, and my co-worker informed me that daddy bought her another high-rise condo, which was directly across from her current condo, and the only other condo on that floor. Why did she get 2 high-rise condos? Well, she wanted the floor to herself. I kinda felt sorry for her because she was an only child and didn't have many friends. She'd also never had a boyfriend in her life. She confided this in me when we were talking alone one time, and said all the guys she tries to date are intimidated by her family's wealth. Looking back now, I think she might have been coming on to me. I still regret not asking her out. Not me, but my scuba instructor told this story. Some rich family paid him a few $1,000s to fly down and give private scuba lessons to them in the Bahamas. In scuba, you have to demonstrate you can handle all the skills in the pool before they let you in the ocean. During the pool part, they got to the skill of clearing the water out of your mask, which is mildly unpleasant but not painful or even hard. They refused to do it. My instructor said if you can't clear a mask, you can't be cleared to dive. They spent a few thousand on private scuba classes and wasted it all because they refused a pretty simple skill. That kid killed 4 people and didn't go to jail. The trust fundage. Yeah, baby at my HS who had a brand new loaded Eddie Bauer edition Explorer and claimed he paid for it with his own hard-earned money. That was a $45 K SUV. No way you paid for that as a 16-year kid with no real job. His spoiling went on in many ways and through college and beyond. Now he's a loser who parties like he's 19 with a job he got through daddy's connections. He's in his mid-30s with a failed marriage and no friends. I hate he never had a chance, but the guy is a real dick and always has been. I'm sure he will burn all his inheritance and life up. Shame to see. My cousin is just graduated from high school last year. His parents are big-time real estate agents in our hometown. Like they both probably clear $1 million a year easily. So my cousin goes off to college and gets busted for public drunkenness and resisting arrest his first semester. Gets expelled from school. Starts bumming off his folks for money. His dad just bought him a brand new Range Rover last weekend as a reward for learning from his mistakes and staying positive when the law targeted him. During a holiday, my cousins came down to visit from New York. 2 of them were younger, I think one was 11. The other 15 at the time, and we knew that their family had a decent amount of money. My grandmother, not having a lot to give and not knowing what these 2 boys could want, gave them money cards with $20 a piece inside instead of gifts. When they opened them, The younger one laughed loudly and the older one just looked disgusted before looking up at my grandma's smiling face and saying, "What the duck do you think we can buy with $20? Old roommate signed up for classes at the community college. Never. Not once went to class. Obviously failed. His mom got mad and over the phone he explained to her that the reason he failed was his car wasn't good enough, 2012 Ford, which was fine, and needed a new one. So his mom buys him a brand new car, 2016. He signs up for classes the next semester. And still ends up never going to class.